Welcome to the Divorce Diaries podcast, one man's anonymous and live account of if he should get a divorce or stay married. He's been cheated on and he's cheated, protecting the innocent with changed voice patterns, the omission of names, ages and genders. His authentic journey and account of the daily events of his marriage are helping him sort out his feelings and not get lost in the ups or the downs. New episodes are released daily. Welcome to the Divorce Diaries podcast. Entire seasons are released on Patreon weeks before anywhere else. At Divorce Diaries podcast Patreon page. Link in description. Now for today's episode.
Hello, Divorce Diaries listeners. I'm back for another recording, and I will talk about the awesome yet big and permanent sorts of steps that I've taken to decouple from my wife. Time of this recording, it's January 4th, 2022. Happy New Year to all again. The steps that I've taken to decouple have been larger than anything I've ever taken. Like right now, I actually can receive my wife's texts. The kids are sick, they're not doing well, and I have to make sure that I'm kept up to date with everything that's going on because my wife's doing a great job. She's filling out a shared Apple Note that holds the temperatures of my kid having a fever and everything, and and I'm running back and forth up and down the road grabbing juice and medicine and replenishing things and taking them over to her place so she can handle one part of it and I handle the other. When the kid's health is concerned, we always kind of divided and conquered, I guess, in that way, which is great. But the decoupling, I turned her text messages to do not disturb or no notifications. I don't want to hear from her. I don't want to see her text messages. I don't want to hear from her. I'm understanding all of the things that she's been doing and the half-truths that she's been saying to people and how she'll tell one person one version of one story that kind of makes her look the best to that person, but then she'll talk to another person with another version of a story that makes her look a certain way to that person. But she doesn't realize that these handfuls of people that she's talking to do sort of talk to each other, and they share what they think is the truth that she shared with them with the other person, and then they're like, that's not what she told me. And everyone is just realizing that my wife is just a liar. And now, granted, some of the people that are realizing this are still leaning in and saying, you know, I'm still going to talk with her. I'm still going to be with her. I'm not going to shun her or anything like that, which I can totally understand. It's really hard cutting people off and decoupling from them, but you have to do it because it ultimately will bite you. And it's biting everyone. And that's what the only people right now that are still speaking with her are the people that are choosing to willfully ignore her. The facts of who she is. So I'm looking forward to the day where, one, I don't ever want to have to block my wife, even though that has been an actual suggestion from my therapist. She's like, you can block her and only talk through lawyers. Just block her. And I'm like, I hope it doesn't get to that point, but I could definitely see it doing that because my wife's toxicity is sort of on full display because I'm not giving anything any air, I guess. I didn't understand how much narcissistic bait I took over the years, and every bad text, like if my wife were to text me, was one of the things she's told me the last we spoke. you're despicable. And I'm like, I would say despicable. How do you mean I'm despicable? And I do this, and could I really be despicable? Like, can you elaborate? Are you really serious? I would just engage. She would throw the grenade. I would jump on it. I would react to the grenade, throw it somewhere else, kick it, throw it under the thing, say, "Oh, please don't play with grenades." And I would do all these goofy things. But now realizing that this person doesn't have anything good to say to me. This person isn't trying to add anything to my life. This person is trying to repeatedly remind me of things that I may have done wrong, things that I said wrong, things that I messed up, I guess. And let's just go with all that. And let's say it's true. Let's say I am wrong. I did bad things. Why do you feel the need to tell me about it every day? Why do you feel the need to rub it in my face? Why do you feel the need to talk behind my back? Why do you feel the need to do all of these things? It's a darkness that you're carrying around with you that you're putting onto me, even if I deserve it. That's not the point of this diary entry in this recording. It's even if someone's down, should you kick them? Even if they deserve it, should you kick them? And that's why my wife and I are divorcing. What I'm finding, I'm not a kicker while people are down. I'm not saying that because I think I'm better than anyone. I'm saying it as a statement of fact. I don't live with my wife. She doesn't have to say and do the things that she's doing to me, but she's choosing to. I could, I guess, say and do things to her. I'll talk to the kids and I'll tell them the full truth about her. I'll tell them how she did this, that, and the other thing. But I don't want to do that. I don't find benefit in trying to even the score or settle it. Yeah, their mom did things in the past, a lot of things. It's not my place to tell them about the bad things that she did. There's someone else in my life that related to by marriage, but it was something that happened in our life many, many years ago, and her ex told the kids that mom did blank. I'm not going to get that specific. No, fuck it. I will, because it's out there, and I mean, you don't know anyone's names. No, I can't put the genie back in the bottle just in case I say it. But so it was something very personal that it was a personal choice that she made, and the father had no business sharing that decision with the children, or anyone. It was such a personal decision, and I don't know why he thought it best to put her business out there like that to children, but he did. And it's like, that could be a really rough position for her, because I know if I had to make that decision or chose to make that decision, it's one of those decisions where you never really cope fully with it, live it down, can deal with it, because once it's done, it's done. And someone calling you out publicly like that, it lets you know who that person really is. It's like, wow, you're horrible. That was my personal information. And even if you think I was right for doing what I did or wrong for doing what I did, it's my information. And the only reason you had to probably tell anyone about what I did was because you wanted to hurt me or make yourself look good. And if that's the type of person that you are, jump off a bridge. Because you don't care who you hurt or how you hurt them. And that's why I knew I needed to decouple from my wife. And once the kids are better, and as long as there's nothing where I have to be notified, or I have to notify her, like in real time with things, I'm looking forward to muting the notifications on her, and hopefully she just never contacts me again. You know, knowing that I married someone that talks about me behind my back to my children and leaves out the entirety of stories, the parts especially that make her look bad, this is a very easy divorce to walk toward now. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not even thinking about the future. I'm just like so happy to know that I'm not cutting someone out of my life that loves me. I'm cutting someone out of my life that talks about me behind my back to my kids to drive a wedge and leaves out things strategically that they do to make themselves look good. It's a very, very, very easy divorce to walk toward. And I hope the lawyers hurry up and do this thing, because I really want this over. I've never had the wish or the feeling that I never met someone before, but I kind of have that. And I can't say I have it fully at all, because there were connections made that I didn't think would manifest into what they are now that are awesome. That I'm like, whoa, the idea of giving up this relationship in my life, I don't think I want to do that. But yeah, all things considered though, like meeting my wife and understanding who she is now and looking back at the events that happened, and I'm like, you kind of always done a lot of these things. You definitely had redeeming qualities, but to purposefully try to separate a father from their children and manipulate the children with therapists and bringing toxic family members around children, this is good. I have no problems with this divorce. I'm so happy that hopefully in 2022, very early in 2022, it can just be done. No, just done. And I am not joined to this person like by the state or anything like that. Decoupling. You got to take steps that are big and exact and enforceable. And if you have to block a person, block them. Run it through a wash cycle with your therapist if you don't already have one. And remember the rule for being successful in therapy: you have to tell the truth to your therapist. And you have to tell the truth and see if your therapist pushes back. Sometimes might tell you that you're wrong with things, but ask questions and tell the truth. Don't tell a version of the truth, because the therapist is going to try their best to believe, trust, but verify what you're saying, but there's no real way that they can verify. And if you are a bad person that uses the fact that you know your therapist cannot verify, the therapist can only they can only trust. And they don't know the spouse that you're speaking of. They don't know the parent you're speaking of. They don't know you aside from the hour a week potentially that you guys meet. That's the slippery slope with being successful in therapy. Tell the truth. Talk about how you were a piece of shit. But if you aren't there yet and you can't really say that you are a piece of shit, understand you're probably not ready for therapy. If you think you don't need to change, I have heard that from my wife. I don't need to change anything about myself. Literally heard those words, they were said. It's like, I didn't understand what that meant. I didn't understand the type of person that could say that. it would have to be the most covert and grandiose type of narcissist, especially to be able to verbalize it, at least to me. Or you just know, like, there's no way he's going to call me on this. Or maybe I was the source of the narcissistic supply. And I'll say something that I know is gaslighty and absurd, like, I know there is nothing I need to change about myself. It's like when Hillary Clinton called half the country deplorables. To speak to that many people that you don't know and call them a name. The fact that she could be right or wrong is neither here nor there. It's the fact that she's the type of person that would say that. She didn't have a filter, a sifter that she could put that statement through and say, this doesn't feel right to say. This isn't the most ethical thing to say. This is a little yikes. This is going to hurt some feelings. I'm running for president, and I don't want to call half of the people that could vote for me a name. She thought so highly of herself that she could say whatever she wanted and do whatever she wanted. And I think of my wife that way. She really, really, I have been a piece of shit before. I am working on that every day. I've done things that have hurt people. I've displaced anger that should have been in one place on other people that didn't deserve it at all. Absolutely innocent people. I've been a not great dad because of that. The way that I've internalized my resentment and who I decided to spill it on. All of my children got that. And I'm so sorry for that. I know through therapy that I have to forgive myself. And if I would have known better, I would have done better. We had to get to the root of why did you hold resentment? Why did it come out on your kids? Because I wasn't brave enough, or they were small and they were there and they could take it. I just kicked them. They were puppies and I kicked the puppy. I just kicked them. Bam, kicked them. I had to reconcile that shit and say, man, you're a fucking piece of shit for that. Then I peel back, like, why? If this is how you respond, why do you have toxic relationships in your life? Have you evaluated these relationships as toxic or not toxic? What didn't you learn when you were younger? What did you learn that has you acting like this? It sucks. So many things. So many things. I'm going to try my best to be a good dad from here on out and only bring people into my life that are good, because I don't respond well to bad people, and I've had too many around me and in my life for too long. And what does Jim Rohn say? You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I definitely have more than 5 bad people in my life. Toxic people. And guess what? I became one toxic son of a bitch. I'm sorry.
Wow, that was the Divorce Diaries podcast. The daily saga will continue tomorrow. The full season's episodes are on Patreon now. Subscribe for early access. Click the Patreon link in the description. Hopefully these entries help our anonymous recorder as a form of his own personal therapy. That's his hope and his intention. Will these recordings of life's curveballs lead this family to the best resolution in the end? We'll keep listening. New episodes are released daily on all podcast players, but all episodes are available on Patreon at Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Until next time.